Hello class. Today we'll be learning about rural development. When we think about rural development, it is a very vast topic. Here we're just discussing or giving you a bird's eye view about what is rural development, what are the elements and what are the programs that is introduced in India. Well, I've divided this into two parts. So the first part is just dealing with what is rural development, the elements and factors. So before moving into what is rural development, we should know what is development. Development is a universally cherished dream of each individual or a community or nation. It's a desirable change actually. It's a change which is desired by all. And that is universal. It's not just found in India, it's found everywhere in the world. And why are we learning about rural and rural development is because we as a country, we have almost 68% of our population which resides in the village. That may be the cause that years ago the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhiji, said the soul of India resides in its village. And since there is a disparity between the rural and the urban, we're trying to build up the rural at power with the urban. We're trying to bring up the rural community in terms of our urban community. Rural development is an overall development of rural areas with a view to improve the quality of life of rural people. This term, rural development, is a comprehensive and multi-dimensional concept. It encompasses many developmental programs in the field of agriculture, allied activities, village, cottage industries, craft, socio-economic infrastructure, community service and facilities, and it's all about how they manipulate the human resources in rural area. In simple terms, rural development is the process of improving the quality of life and economic well-being of people living in rural areas. I'll just read to you the UNO's definition of rural development. It is a process of change by which the efforts of the people themselves are united, those of government authorities, to improve their economic, social, and cultural conditions of the communities into the life of the nation and to enable them to contribute fully to national program. The elements of rural development. There are three elements that we will be discussing: basic necessities of life, self-respect, and freedom. Freedom, self-respect, and basic necessities of life. When we think about the basic necessities of life, we have heard about this term in Hindi, roti, kapda, and makan. So that is the basic necessity: food, clothing, and shelter. But adding to the food, clothing, and shelter is basic literacy, primary health care, and security of life and property. When any one of them is absent, then we have a condition called underdevelopment. So provision of basic necessities of life to everyone is a primary mandatory of all economies. Self-respect. Every person and every nation see some sort of self-respect or dignity or honor, and the absence or denial of self-respect indicates lack of development. Freedom. In this context, freedom refers to political or ideological freedom, economic freedom, and freedom from social servitude. As long as society is bound by servitude of men to ignorance to other men or other beliefs, it cannot claim to be developed. So, servitude in any form reflects a state of underdevelopment. Next, we'll just look into the determinants of rural development. Rural development, quality of life of rural people. For that, we need human resources, natural resources, technological resources, capital, and institutions and organization. Factors that affect the level and pace of rural development. Even though we discussed that we need certain things for rural development, there are a lot of factors that affect the actual pace of rural development. The factors are physical, technological, economic, social, cultural, institutional, organizational, and political factors that affects the level and pace of rural development. These factors operate at all levels. It just doesn't stop at individual level. It goes further to the village level, to the district level, to the state level, and nation at last, and world. That is the last stoppage for development. So we need all these. These are the factors which affect the pace of rural development. Coming on to the changes in output. Depending upon how they manage these factors can have both favorable and adverse effect on development. And the absence, as I said earlier also, of a single index of rural development will bring change in output. It is assumed that change in output is a function of the change in natural resources, employment, capital, technology, and institution and organization. With this, I just want to give you a sneak preview of what we just learned. As I had already mentioned in the earlier part, that this is just a first part of our rural development, where we just discuss about what is development. Development is a desirable change. That is what development is all about. And we learned about rural development. Rural development is basically development of an area or a rural area, and improve the quality of the people. And we also learned about the elements of rural development, the basic necessities of life, freedom, and self-respect. So these are the things that we had discussed. Thank you.